I'm Caden Martz.
And I'm Deanna LeConte. Coming up on today's show,
we're on scene for this morning's Fox 35 live broadcast on campus.
We look back at nearly 20 years of the Hagerty-Oviedo rivalry.
And we have your responses to Tell OHS. Stay tuned, you're watching Roar TV. Hey Oviedo, it's Friday, October 4th, and it's a special afternoon edition of Roar TV Weekly.
Our galactic-themed homecoming blasted off last week, but today the campus found itself in more engaging activities.
Every fall, our local Fox affiliate broadcasts live from high school campuses, highlighting a local matchup on the gridiron. And today, the focus is the matchup that's dubbed the Hometown Showdown.
That's right. But before we get further into that, let's go to our executive producer, Maddie Howard, for this week's responses of Tell OHS.
Hey Oviedo, I'm Maddie, and earlier this week we asked you what you thought was the biggest rivalry in sports. Here's some of your replies. M said Michigan versus Ohio State. Her parents watch the game every year and it's a big one for their household. And AJ keeps us in the north with the Steelers and the Ravens. He says this matchup is always the toughest of the year for both teams and its roots go back to the 80s. Thank you for your replies. Be on the lookout early next week for some other questions. Now let's head back to the pep rally.
Now those rivalries you all mentioned might have larger followings, but to us from Oviedo, nothing feels more important than when our school goes head-to-head with Hagerty High.
Despite our high school's 100-year history, the rivalry wasn't really established until within some of our lifetimes. The population of the city of Oviedo saw a 132% increase in the 1990s, leading to the need for a second campus in the 2000s.
Reporter Tessa Sims digs up some of the roots in this look at Hagerty and Oviedo by the numbers.
This school year marks the 20th since Oviedo was split into two. The 2004 to 2005 school year was the last time that the city of Oviedo was served by a single public high school. That year, enrollment at Oviedo topped 3,248 students. A reshuffling took place, with some students from Winter Springs coming to Oviedo and students from Oviedo going to Hagerty. By 2007, the student population at Oviedo stabilized at 2,353. Hagerty started as a freshman-only campus. As those freshmen moved up, new freshmen came in. They fielded a varsity football team for the first time in 2007, and the Hometown Showdown began. The teams went back and forth in the first 4 years they met, with Hagerty picking up wins in 2008 and 2010. Those early games saw the likes of future NFL quarterbacks Blake Bortles at Oviedo and Jeff Driscoll at Hagerty. But since 2011, Oviedo has won 13 of the last 14 matchups and leads the overall series 15-3. The 2020 season saw 2 games as the teams met for their first playoff matchup. Perhaps most memorably, though, Oviedo overcame a 14-point deficit and scored a dramatic game-winning touchdown in the final minutes of the 2015 matchup. This year, Oviedo comes in with a 4-1 record and Hagerty sits at 4-2. But Oviedo is looking to add to an 8-game winning streak in the series. We'll see tonight if they can do it. For Roar TV, I'm Tessa.
To hear more on that rivalry and just about high school sports in general, check out me and Merrick DeCarlo's podcast at Oviedo Journalism, The Den.
With both teams off to promising starts, it lends opportunity for more local coverage from media, like our local Fox 35 station.
Now, being that we're a broadcast journalism program, it's particularly interesting and somewhat of a meta experience for us to report from the set of a professional broadcast.
It's pretty cool what they do. Going live throughout the morning from 2 teams set to square off, reporter Allison Alford takes a peek behind the curtains of what's become of an annual visit by Fox 35.
Those of us at Roar TV can vouch for the difficulty of coordinating a news broadcast. The feeling is mutual for the many hands involved with coordinating pep rallies, but trying to do both? Well, that's just pure insanity.
We walk into a gymnasium every Friday morning for Friday football, and we never know exactly what we're going to get, and that's exciting. There's typically a huge football team, a marching band, cheerleaders, a dance squad. We assess and make a quick plan, and then we're off and running.
Usually I'm coming with a professional ENG camera, a device to go broadcast live. In this case, we have a live view, which is a backpack who connects with cell phone towers to transmit the signal live. Next to 8 cell phones. It sends the signal up and brings it back to the station puts the image back together, and we're live.
There's no shortage of work, though, in the time before the little red light on the camera turns on.
The news sends me an outline, an agenda, and it's usually teasers and then a main hit for a few minutes, and we go back and forth between each schools. So the main thing is trying to get what groups participate and then who's going to speak on behalf of those groups. So that's the hardest part on the pre-organization of it all.
Meticulous planning certainly goes a long way, but it can't account for everything.
Echo in a gymnasium is very hard on people who have to do television because you wear an earpiece and you're listening to your production studio back at the mothership, but then you're also trying to keep an ear out on what's happening in the gymnasium. Just dealing with that noise. It can get in your head and you can have a hard time thinking about what you're trying to say.
There is one other thing that can make the job difficult, and Oviedo High students can probably relate.
Parking. That's the hardest part, to find parking. Sometimes parking is not the same.
When all that hard work comes together, though, the fanfare and spirit is on display for the whole community.
Oh, the energy is great. Running around, getting people riled up, coming. The football players usually get really worked out and come towards the camera. They're playing with the lens, and it's great.
You know, the favorite part is just watching each group and every student being recognized and representing Oviedo High School. We have so much to offer, and I love the students are able to articulate that and share that with the community.
Reporting on Fox 35 for Road TV, I'm Allison Alford.
This week kicks off the month of October, a month known for several prominent causes, including Red Ribbon Week and drug prevention.
It's a great opportunity to premiere this PSA from our new crew members Skylar Klinker and Noah Hedlund. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Before we go today, we have results from some of our student athletes, with one team finding themselves across the country this week.
Marley Moore fills in on that, plus some highlights from this week's O-Town Sports Report.
Good morning, Oviedo. I'm Marley Moore, and this is your O-Town Sports Report. Wednesday, the Lions swim and dive took on Lyman. The boys outscored the Greyhounds 127-40, and the girls won 132-36. Top performances came from Tristan Massey in the 100 fly with a 54, and Simon Gong in the 100 free with a 51. For the girls, Roar TV's very own Maddie Bacek took the 100 back with a 107, and Jane Coleman finished the 100 free with a 58.6. Boys bowling and girls bowling also proved that it's better to be a Lion than a Greyhound, with the boys defeating Lyman by a nearly 300-point margin. Alex Coghill led the team with a 223 high game and a 436 high series. Girls bowling won by nearly the same margin. Noah Holzman led the team with a 360 series high. Last week, as part of the homecoming festivities, the junior and senior girls took the field for the annual Powder Puff game. Photographer Ethan Kane was there for the highlights. Seniors, you may want to look away for this one. In the first half, both quarters had to shake off some nerves as they exchanged a pair of interceptions. But the juniors got off rolling first as quarterback Reese Sanderson completes a touchdown to Allison Sharp. Successful two-point conversion attempts would give the juniors a 16-0 lead at the half. But the seniors weren't about to go away quietly. Ansley DeVos completed a touchdown and a two-point conversion to Destiny Tech to put the seniors on the board. But Sanderson and the juniors would respond with another pass to Alan Scarf and a two-point conversion to Riley DeSoto. Ansley DeVos would keep the seniors live in the game with a touchdown to Ava Descaris. But only a few minutes remaining, the time ran out on the seniors' final drive, and the juniors won by a score of 24-16. Sadly, the girls volleyball don't get to see this morning's live broadcast on Fox 35 because they're a couple time zones away in Arizona. They play 3 matches this afternoon in the Nike Tournament of Champions. And finally, football is of course just going to be a few miles down the road against the Huskies. That's all we have for you today. Now let's head back to the pep rally in the CCM gym.
All right, Oviedo, that will wrap us up on this afternoon edition of Roar TV.
Don't forget that starting Tuesday of next week, the bell schedule will be different each day for 9 weeks exams.
We'll see you back in the studio Monday as we get ready to finish the quarter strong.
Have a great weekend, and as always,
Go Lions!